Magneto on, fuel on, pressure up. Here we go.
Very good.
Yep. Okay, it'll hold about 40 to 50 pounds of oil pressure. The idle is going to smooth out at about 2,000 RPM, and when you blip it, it's going to go up to 4,500. It's a strong engine, extremely strong oil pressure.
What would you say the compression was?
160 pounds, extremely high compression engine. Really amazing, really, for its vintage. This is an incredibly high compression engine, very high performance.
You said it's got hemispherical heads that are cross-load?
Yep, cross-load heads, dual overhead cam. I mean, it's really current technology from the 30s. It's just incredible. I would think that if you compared this from a technology standpoint with even the little rice rockets, you're going to see extraordinary similarities.
Well, it's very similar in design to the Miller block and head and the Offenhauser block and head.
Yeah, they really figured it out with this design, and this is just so far ahead of its time. Those carburetors flow nicely. I mean, it runs beautifully. So it's quite an engine. It's got that gear whine of only chain drives do. So
right.
It's a magnificent specimen.
Got the chromed axle.
Now I'm going to relieve the pressure on the tank so that the carburetors don't drip.
Okay.
I did shut the fuel selector valve off, and there we go. It hissed and then it quit, so I'm just going to put it back on. But the fuel selector valve should be turned off, and you should run them down, which I did. That's why it was starting to miss a little bit.
Got it. Ow, that touched.
Trying to think of anything else. It's just, you know, it's a runner. It's a runner.
He raced it in the Golden Spurs out in Seattle on a regular basis, and he built this car to vintage race. Mm-hmm. Was there a name on the quick change rear end?
Oh yeah, it's a HAL brand.
Okay.
It's a HAL brand rear end, and it looks extremely clean inside. I put 2 quarts of new oil in it, so it's ready.
Very good.
I put the Ford 600 weight, which has got no additives, which then doesn't hurt any of the bronze bearings. So it's.
And as we said, we put a starter on it, and then in order to get room for the starter, Jim Honeywell, Big Daddy Don Garland's engine builder, put this hydraulic clutch system that we're looking at right now.
It's a Willwood system. It should be good for a long, long time.
Okay.
So that's great. First class car.
Now, how tall are you?
I am about 5'9" now. I used to say I was 5'10", but I'm going to say I'm 5'9" now.
5'9", what do you weigh?
I weigh 175.
Okay, so you fit in there okay.
Perfect. I'm a perfect fit.
All right. All right, we'll wrap this up.
And those carburetors, I'll bring to your attention, those carburetors are made so they can be updraft or downdraft either way.
Right.
There's an adapter plate. It's really neat. I've never seen this particular model, but there's purpose-built for racing because there's no provision for a choke in them.
Mm-hmm. There's your mag, oil pump, water pump.
Water pump, correct. Huge oil pump.
Yeah, there's a huge oil pump.
Yeah.
Oh, God, look at the size of that oil pump.
That oil pump is unbelievable. Industrial strength.
Beautiful drive everywhere.
Yep. Dripped a little on there from the priming the carburetors. You just, you know, you just want to, people will know that have dealt with high-performance engines, but there's no point in trying to crank it and start it without priming it because it just won't kick unless you put a little prime in it.
Got it.
And then it'll pop instantly. That magneto, I cleaned your, oh, I forgot, I cleaned your magneto for you. The magneto was a little dirty, so I cleaned that and I cleaned the plugs.
Excellent.
And that made quite a difference in its pop. I think it'll draw about a ½ inch of arc now, that magneto well. It's very hot magneto.